This is the NVIDIA 1 month overview reading for the month of February 2024. It's currently December 28th, 2023, 10:06 p.m. Eastern Time. NVIDIA at the time of this reading is $495.22. That's USD. And the shuffle video that we're about to play for you was created on December 5th, 2023 at 3:38 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this video here in the lower left corner. So the overall theme of behavior for NVIDIA in February is a period of erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level. In the midst of that erratic behavior, there's at least one opportunity that's revisited. It looks like there's an opportunity at a crest that's revisited. Also, there's an opportunity at a trough that's revisited. Interesting. And this erratic behavior is crossed with an important resistance level on like a year-to-date scale. That's that Ace of Swords. Usually there's the type of chart behavior around the Ace of Swords that allows you to trade in both directions, kind of like moving into it and then out of it, or moving out of it and then into it, that kind of behavior. And we'll look at it in more detail as we progress through the reading. Behavior around the highest high, we have a rally into a key resistance level on a multi-day scale that we then decline from with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down. Behavior around the lowest low, we attempt to establish support on like a multi-day scale. Also looks like there's an important technical price level near the low on like a year-to-date kind of scale. Before we go any further, I want to make sure everybody's aware the whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. Imagine if everybody who made money in the stock market took some of that money and put it towards helping other people, how much better the world would be. So you can help us do that here and accomplish our mission as a team by going to the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders. 5% of all profits should be donated forward to one of these charities. 5% of all profits should be donated back to the channel. Say thank you and support the channel. It leaves you at 90%. Make sure to spend that money out of love. As long as you follow those rules, the universe considers you an angel investor. The channel's going to send it back to you tenfold for following through on that. Blessings to all my angel investors. When reading a 1 month SO meta-analysis reading, it's important to understand that each card, although it's numbered, the date of the card or the day that it represents, not each card's energy is going to line up perfectly with 1 day of time. So there's going to be cases where we might need plus or minus a day here for timing. It doesn't happen in all readings, some readings. But with that said, when it does happen, it's important to follow the sequence of events as outlined by the prediction, because the sequence of events will remain 100% accurate even when we need plus or minus a day here or there of wiggle room. So there's an important peak at the very beginning of the day actually, looks like we come out of a trough from the previous day, and there's a peak early in the day on the first. Multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance throughout the first and into the second. A peak and a trade opportunity, and then another peak on the cusp of the first and the second. So multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance there. And it looks like on the second, we probably have some erratic behavior or revisit a crest there. Actually, it looks like there's a crest there that's an opportunity that we revisit actually early in the day. And then we decline pretty notably through multiple supports into a trough and a significant low on a 1 month scale there early in the day on the 5th. In a period like there's a U-shaped dip. So we go from this peak on the 2nd into a trough on the 5th and back to a peak on the cusp of the 5th, 6th. Where there's an important support level highlighted. It's important on like a 1 year chart scale. We do sideways rotation on the 7th along it, and then there's another peak at the end of the day on the 7th. There's that unicursal energy that we're seeing in so many readings. Right around the 7th, 8th, 9th is where we often are seeing this unicursal energy. So there's an important resistance level highlighted around the 8th, and we probably have a pretty sharp drop from the 8th, or maybe the cusp of the 8th, 9th, into a trough mid to late in the day on the 9th, and then back to a high at the end of the day on the 9th, or the beginning of the day on the 12th. More likely the beginning of the day on the 12th, hard to say, but in either case, that unicursal there is marking, if we go higher after the unicursal on the 8th, then I would say it's marking a price level where we're going to break down through that. When we hit the lowest low, we'll be below that price level. If we do have a sharp drop on the 8th, 9th, then I would say that's what the unicursal is indicating there, and we probably have revisit highs there at the beginning of the day on the 12th. Sharp drop from a peak or crest early in the day on the 12th into sideways rotation along key support on a multi-day scale there on the 12th. That does end with a fast sudden move higher in the midst of a pop and drop that takes us like from the cusp of a trough at the end of the day on the 12th into a peak midday on the 13th or early in the day on the 13th, followed by another trough late in the day on the 13th. It's like a pop and drop there. Pretty significant decline into the trough on the 13th. And then out of that is a notable rally taking us into another prominent peak, followed by a decline through multiple support levels on the 15th, taking us into another prominent trough in the morning of the 16th. Cross-reading congruency there. Sideways fluctuating decline on the 16th that precedes a rally. It looks like we rally pretty notably from a trough early in the day on the 20th. We rally pretty notably there. Looks like we have a prominent peak and a prominent trough around the 20th, 21st. Most likely the trough is there early in the day on the 21st. And we have a rally along a diagonal trend line on the 21st that ends with a fast sudden move higher, and then a breakdown through that diagonal trend line with increasing volatility on the way down. Another prominent peak that's brief and easily missed early in the day on the 22nd, followed by a decline through multiple support levels. This is one of the areas in a lot of the 1 months we're seeing the unicursal energy again, right around here, around the 22nd-ish, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. And then there's that Princess of Swords, which indicates a prominent trough and then a resistance level that's highlighted. A lot of price change between the two. Looks like we decline from a prominent peak there into a trough, and then we'll see that prominent peak again on the 26th, 27th, probably the cusp of the 26th, 27th, when we rally on the 26th, increasing with the momentum moving forward into that peak. That notable reversal around the 27th with a decline coming out of it, and then a sideways fluctuating rally that precedes another decline there on the 28th. A sideways fluctuating rally on the 28th that precedes another decline. Prominent move higher on the 27th that precedes a full retracement of that move back down. Makes it kind of like a triangular shape on a chart. And sneak preview for the following month is some more mixed behavior. As far as the highest highs, so we have a highest high thus far around the 1st, 2nd. I think we hit it twice, and then we go into a lowest low thus far around the 5th, 6th. Back into highest high thus far. It's probably the same high as the 1st, 2nd here around the 8th, 9th. So we have a highest high here around between the 8th and the 12th. It's hard to say, guys, but I'm leaning towards the 8th with this like significant decline into a lowest low here on the 13th. We're probably revisiting a lowest low from the 5th, 6th, and then highest highs again here. So we're like revisiting highs again here around the 22nd, 23rd, and then again around the 26th, 27th. And that's NVIDIA for February. NVIDIA is one of the monthlies that we only started doing monthlies for in January, so I don't really have anything here in December to review for accuracy, but we did have a 2023 reading, and it looks like the high near the high in December, we have sideways fluidity, equal amounts of bulls and bears inflow and outflow, and you can see how that's kind of taking place. Sharp drop off of the high, you can see through multiple support levels, so that's pretty accurate. Early December was a pop and a drop. And with that said, thank you. Please support the channel by subscribing if you like this content, and most importantly, make sure to follow that rule of karma. You know where to go, you know what to do. Blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay tuned if you got the paid version. Yeah, okay, so from the multi-year standpoint, guys, I think what we're seeing right here is this big move is part of the Dominion. It's usually bullish price swings, so especially on this grand of a scale. So this is all bullish price swings we're seeing here. And then the gain card is sideways rotation and then a big move higher. So this price swing, it could be turning into sideways rotation. I expect we see another pretty big move. We have the gain card in 2024. We also have the 2025 card in 2024 here, and the death card, which is the 2026. So a lot going on, but I think we can expect a significantly higher price levels in 2024. We get our first highest high, it looks like around the cusp of January, February, before declining into lows around the cusp of February, March. So what I'd be looking for is opportunities near an overbought crest or peak in early February to position myself for a significant decline into lowest lows either at the end of February or in March. It is possible that these don't end up being highest highs and that they just end up being prominent highs. But I think they're probably, I mean, all the other readings are kind of saying a similar thing there. So it may be that there's like another drop here after the fortune card prominent reversal and a pretty big move to the downside. Yeah, I don't think the drops are as big for NVIDIA as they are for some of the others, because this is pretty bullish for the most part for February. Best trades from a 1 month standpoint. Okay, so here on the 1st, 2nd, there's a peak early in the day on the 1st, which is a trade opportunity, although I wouldn't be hasty because you'll get another opportunity. So don't just jump there. Look for multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance around the same price level as that peak. We should see that peak again around the cusp of the 1st, 2nd. That's where I would enter into a short position and close that short position early to mid part of the day on the 5th in the midst of that U-shaped dip. So if we're at a highest high again here with this truce price level, and we haven't seen a sharp drop yet, I would say that's an opportunity to get into a short. I'd open up a partial short there around the cusp of the 7th, 8th at that key technical price level. We should have on a 1-day chart on the 8th 3 pokes through the same price level followed by a sharp decline. So if I can get in before that sharp universal decline, I'd open up a short position and close it the next day if I can. If I can't, then that's probably because there's more opportunity and I would add to that short position a little bit more of a partial just in case on the morning of the 12th I get another opportunity. But by the latest, I would be looking to exit out of that short position around the cusp of the 13th, 14th where we see a lowest low. That lowest low there on the 13th is going to be roughly the same price level as this low from here on the 5th, 6th. On the 14th, in the midst of a notable rally on a multi-day scale, on a 1-day chart, we'll have a move higher through key resistance on a 1-day chart, followed by a full retracement shortly thereafter of that move back down through the same price level, making like a capital A kind of pattern, with the price level being the horizontal line. I would look for that behavior on a 1-day chart in the midst of a rally on a multi-day chart there on the 14th to enter into a short position, and I would close that short position early in the day on the 16th in the midst of a sideways fluctuating decline after a decline through multiple support levels on the 15th. If I'm wrong and I don't get an opportunity to close it on the 16th, I might get another opportunity to add to it at the end of the day on the 16th, in which case I would be looking to close out of it no later than the morning of the 21st. But that's really getting risky. I don't know if I'd even wait that long. What I'd want to do is, when I get out of the short position here on the 16th in the midst of that sideways fluctuating decline, on a 1-day chart, it'll be a decline that increases with momentum moving forward in time. I'd look to get into a long position, which you could close for a day trade later, like at the end of the day. If you open up a long position early in the day and close it at the end of the day, probably a good day trade there, or you could hold the long position to close probably in the morning of the 20th. If not the morning of the 20th, the cusp of if not the morning of the 20th, then at a brief peak that's easily missed on the 22nd. If not there, then probably a higher peak there around the early part of the 23rd. My gut is saying I want to be in a short position on the 27th. I'd open up a partial at a highest high there. We'd probably revisit the highs from earlier, like the previous week. And then I'd add to that short position on the 28th. If there's opportunity, that's what my gut is saying, but I'd have to look closer at like a March reading to really be able to determine that in like further clarity. But yeah, this high in February is likely going to be higher than where we are now. As far as the low in February, in March, I should say like cusp of March, February, probably in March. Hard to say, but it's going to be a significant trough. And that's the comparative performance of NVIDIA versus the S&P 500 throughout the same period of February 2024. And you can see how they follow very similar patterns. I think that the opportunity to open that short is there on the cusp of the 7th, 8th. But in any case, as far as overall performance, does NVIDIA outperform S&P 500 in the month of February 2024? That is a yes. NVIDIA outperforms the S&P 500 in February 2024. Thank you, my friends, for supporting the channel with the paid version. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to put out this content. I wouldn't be anywhere near to fulfilling my life's purpose. So thank you so much for all your help and your support. Blessings to all my angel investors. You know where to go. You know what to do. I'll see you guys on the next one.